you.
I love you.
Hello, Gideon. We love you, son. We're waiting for you.
Hey.
Here we are. Here's a little happy family. So in a sense, you choose who lives or dies until a person is faced with death. It's impossible to tell whether they have what it takes to survive. Cherish your life is the concept that this whole clinic was built on. Cherish your life. Your life. Ta-da!
What's so special about it?
Except for the fact the whole deal hung up. The mechanism inside it is 300 years old, still ticking, withstood the test of time. I got a surprise for you. I need some help here. These people have no respect for the lives that they're destroying.
All I wanted to do was help them.
You can't help them. They have to help themselves. Once you see death up close, then you know what the value of life is. And that's my way. Were it not for a careless mistake by a resident at the hospital I was in, my cancer could have been diagnosed a lot sooner. It was simply the wrong name on an x-ray. Can you imagine what it feels like to have someone sit you down and tell you that you're dying? In a split second, your world's cracked open. You look at things differently, you smell things differently. Most people have the luxury of not knowing when that clock's going to run. And the irony of it is that keeps them from really living their life. It keeps them sleeping. It keeps them drinking that glass of water. They never really tasted it.
His name is John. He's a very interesting person.
This patient has an inoperable frontal lobe tumor extending across the midline, started as
I
colon
found a
cancer.
treatment for my cancer that I think was proud upon us, but my requests for coverage have all been turned down.
At your age, and with the development of your cancer, it's simply not feasible for Umbrella.
Wait. What's not feasible? By whose mathematical equation is this not feasible? Don't talk to me about money. I have money. This is about principle. You see, Will, this is my life we're talking about. You remember?
I want to live.
As do I, Ryan. As do we all. But things happen.
He doesn't want us to cut through our chains. He wants us to cut through our feet.
The cancer isn't what started me at my work. It was the moment I decided to end my life and brought meaning to it. I had literally driven myself to suicide, and I had failed. My body had not been strong enough to repel cancer cells, yet I had lived through a plunge off a cliff. But to my amazement, I was alive, and I was determined to spend the rest of my days testing the fabric of human nature.
What do you want from me?
What do I want? I want to play a game. I'm the man you call Jigsaw.
What's happened to you?
What's happened to me? What's happened to me? You see, the knowledge of death changes everything. If I were to tell you the exact date and time of your own death, it would shatter your world completely. I know. Do you remember what I said?
Oh, I heard you, John.
Get the fuck. You heard me. I want to play a game. Now, the game's simple. The best ones are. It's time. It's time to start our game. Sick from the disease eating away at the inside. Sick of people who don't appreciate their blessings. Those who don't appreciate life do not deserve life. And the most important human element of all is what? The will to live.
You did this to me.
No. You did this to yourself.
Give me time to explain, please.
I can't give you time. No one can. Time's an illusion. I forgive you, Cecil. I do. We can never come from anger or from vengeance. The heart cannot be involved. Emotionally, there can be nothing there. As a human being, it can never be personal.
So what's your test, detective?
I don't need one. Addiction is not simple. Joe! Wake up! Whoa! What the fuck is that? The tool that's going to save your life. I want to play a game.
He helped me. I found myself a father, a leader, a teacher.
You must meet death to be reborn.
He helped me.
I've never killed anyone. I give people a chance.
He didn't deserve a chance. He was an animal.
Everybody deserves a chance. Killing is distasteful. I've never murdered anyone in my life. The decisions are up to them. I don't condone murder, and I despise murderers. Suffering. You haven't seen anything yet. I'm a cancer patient. How could you possibly put me in any more pain than I'm already in? Death is a surprise party. Unless, of course, you're already dead on the inside. Forgive all his sins to wipe the slate clean. Why is it that we're willing to do that? When a life is at stake, you can't kill me, Jeff. One final test. The rules are simple. The jigsaw piece I cut from my subject was only ever meant to be a symbol that subject was missing something. A vital piece of the human puzzle. The survival instinct. And forgive me for the pain that I've caused you and your wife tonight. It's up to you. Live or die, Jeff. Make our choice. I forgive you. I forgive you. Game over. Game over. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you. Not anymore. Game over.
If you want to know more about Jigsaw's backstory, like the details only included in the comic, and if you want to see the full chronology of what I think is the only accurate timeline of the events of John Kramer's life on the internet, then stick around to the end of this video. Many of my favorite horror villains are not monsters in the typical sense of having a scary appearance or intimidating demeanor, but instead project more of a psychological horror, oftentimes brought on by a distorted sense of how they see the world. Many of the best antagonists or anti-heroes are scary to me because they actually believe that they're doing the world a service with their misdeeds. And the agent of the events that we've come to know as the Saw franchise is a model example of this chilling behavior. Welcome to Horror History. My name is Very F***ing Confused.
My name is Very F***ing Confused. What's your name?
And in today's lesson, I'll be analyzing the man responsible for years of citywide panic, a slew of impersonators, a cult of
Bien le
nefarious
bonjour, bien le
followers,
bonsoir,
massive
amis
investigation,
du
and
jour, amis du soir, amis de peu de foi ou de mauvaise foi.
I'm of course referring to the Jigsaw Killer,
Il y a
John
des
Kramer,
comics
most commonly known by the nickname
sur toutes
Jigsaw,
les
who was
franchises de
originally
films
derived from
d'horreur.
his practice of cutting jigsaw pieces from the flesh of his failed victims.
Freddy,
The missing piece of their survival instinct.
Jason, Michael Myers, Hellraiser, surtout Hellraiser. Et maintenant, il y a Saw. Et j'aimerais bien les lire. Mais est-ce qu'un éditeur français prendrait cette initiative? Je sais pas. Ah, écoutez, j'ai lu Massacre à la tronçonneuse, des Hellraiser en version originale. Donc j'ai pas compris le scénario, mais les images étaient assez éloquentes pour comprendre. Et puis c'est tout. Ah oui, puis bien sûr les Terminators. Ah oui, les Terminators, il y en a plein. Puis des aliens aussi. Et les Predators. Et pas de Massacre à la tronçonneuse, de Jason, de Freddy et surtout de Saw.
I would also speculate that it was the reason he fell in love with the woman that would become his wife, Jill Tuck, the doctor who ran a recovery center for drug addicts in his homeward bound clinic. The clinic's motto was "Cherish your life,"
peut-être
a phrase that John
qu'avec de
would
la
also associate with his
patience.
own work. John and Jill's love eventually led to
Mais
marriage
c'est
and
pas le
plans to
but
have
de
a
la
child.
vidéo.
Like in
Le
his
but
work,
de la
John
vidéo,
meticulously
c'est de
planned all
parler
aspects of
de
his life,
Saut
and the baby was
3,
no exception. The
Saut
child's name,
3,
Gideon, was also the name of his first
Saut
building, the Gideon meatpacking plant, and may
de
have drawn from the Hebrew name Gidon, which meant
déversoir,
hero or
de
judge, showing us John's
dégueulasserie.
subconscious desire to judge people for their sins.
Parce qu'il
The
est
baby's
crade,
birth date
ce
of birth was in
film.
1995
Il est
for Chinese year of the pig, which
horriblement
was a symbol
crade.
of rebirth, a concept that John believed heavily in.
Bon,
The name
ça
Gideon and the pig
commence.
symbol would have greater meaning later in John's story, but for now, he was focused on tending to his pregnant wife. He would wait for her to get done with work some days, and he noticed some shady
Par un mec qui est assis sur une chaise.
One evening, he has to intervene when a fight nearly breaks out between two addicts named Cecil Adams and Gus Colliard, and John had to convince Cecil to put his
Il
life
a
away before things got much
une
worse. This
sorte de
causes John to
piège
wonder how effective his wife's rehabilitation methods really are, but he still
avec
encourages her work, something he would come to regret later
des
down the line.
pics,
He also displays
des
evidence
pièges
of
sur la
more
tête,
towards the world when he meets an insurance smuggler named William Easton, who
un
sponsors a
casque
individual's clinic.
avec
They
des
seem to
pics
connect
sur
over
la
their mutual
tête
need to predict human behavior in the
qui
respective
peut se
John, but John
refermer.
disagrees with William's methods of trying to screen
Il a
people
une
and determine
minute
their probability of illness
pour
before giving them
retrouver la
insurance
clé
coverage.
qui est enfoncée sous son œil pour se
This
libérer.
exchange would be another important puzzle piece
Et il va
in cracking the
essayer,
jigsaw
il ne
for
trouvera
Sony,
pas le
because John
courage.
believed that he was giving each of his victims a
Et
chance to survive by putting them through
comme
adversity.
une
As
plante
Gideon's due date got
venimeuse,
closer, though, John
le
continued
piège
to
va
prepare
se
for the work of his
refermer
son by
sur lui.
constructing a crib, a
Et
children's toy that resembles a
waouh,
ventriloquist doll, which he would name Billy the
les
Puppet,
pics
and by
vont
creating a
le
home video for the boy during an
transpercer.
ultrasound monitor. Again, we can pull
Ça,
several puzzle pieces from John's
c'est un bon
preparation to be a
concept.
father. The messages he meant to save for his son were to be passed via videotape, and he would eventually use this medium to speak to his test subjects, while the puppet would be reimagined as the face of Jigsaw, an avatar that appeared in some of the tapes who would sometimes make physical appearances to
Ensuite,
carry on
on
messages
fait
to his victims.
la connaissance pour la première fois,
Before John ever got to
l'apparition
meet
pour
his
la
son Gideon,
première fois
tragedy would strike on one
de Costas Mandylor, alias l'inspecteur Hoffman, qui va prendre une très 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 grande majeure partie du temps dans le 4, le 5, le 6 et le 7, surtout dans le 7 d'ailleurs. Et il joua des rôles d'une extrême importance dans le 4, le 5 et le 6 et le 7, ça c'est inébranlable. Quoi que vous disiez, c'est le successeur du Jigsaw.
And we see the very beginning of this right after the loss of Gideon, when John changes his attitude towards the drug addicts that he previously encouraged the idea of helping.
Mais autrement,
All I wanted to do was help them.
on a affaire, bien entendu, à Kerry, la femme qui poursuit le tueur au puzzle. Nous avons Rig, le black en uniforme, qui dit, il l'a dit dans un bonus, dans le bonus du DVD, qu'il referait bien un saut, mais pas en uniforme. Et ça, Twistess, Picture et New Line, c'est pas rentré dans l'oreille d'un sourd. Hein? Alors, on le laisse de côté pour après. Donc pour le 4, parce que là il jouera 5 minutes, après on ne le reverra plus. Kerry se fait enlever et attaché à un chevalet. Et doit prendre une clé dans un bol, dans un pot peau remplie d'acide
You did this to yourself.
Yeah, come on, Cecil, you did
pour
this.
se
It was all you,
libérer,
buddy.
mais elle n'arrive
He's
pas
delusional.
à
Cecil
la
is trapped in the
prendre.
knife chair. John claims it was a tool to
Et
reclaim
puis,
his life.
normalement,
If he
il
can
laisse
press his
une
face through a
chance
barrier of 8 knives and
à
press a
tous
lever
les
on the other
joueurs.
side, his restraints will
Mais
be
c'est
released.
pas lui
John
qui
thinks this
a,
is
qui a
fitting because it will
fabriqué,
make
qui a
Cecil's face
terminé,
ugly to match his
qui a
grief.
vissé le
Cecil is
dernier
able to release
boulon.
himself from the chair, but this is not enough to
C'est
rehabilitate. He tries to
quelqu'un
attack John,
d'inconnu.
who sidesteps and sends him tumbling into the razor wire
Et
trap.
puis,
In this one, he's unable
donc,
to escape.
la dernière scène qu'on voit d'elle
John
vivante,
may
il
have
dit,
told himself that letting Cecil die
oh,
after giving him a second chance was a good
c'est
thing, but
vous?
Cecil was unable to be
Et
rehabilitated.
tu vois
So,
les,
killing him was
la
just.
colonne
Another trait of a psychopath is the need for repeated stimulation. Because John felt that he was doing Cecil a favor
les
by putting him through
côtes
his test, he soon had the desire to
s'ouvrir.
began to create more complex traps in his workshop. But John's
Il y a
good
plein de
intentions would not be
sang,
enough to make future
c'est
traps fair for
wow,
Jones.
c'est
Before
assez
long, police would
hallucinant.
recognize Kramer's actions as the work of a serial killer.
Newspapers started calling it the jigsaw killer.
Hoping to do something about the
Quelqu'un
decline of her
habillé
marriage after losing
avec
the
un
baby she was
sweat,
carrying, Jill decided to
sweat
try to talk to John and give
rouge.
him one more chance. So she goes back into
Ça
the
peut être
workshop.
une
Before
piste.
finding her husband, she discovers reconnaissance photos of Cecil Adams. Cecil was believed to be missing, and Jill wondered if John had anything to do with it. He finds her snooping around and becomes very angry with her, telling her not to ever come back, effectively the end of their relationship, and another sign of psychopathic behavior, impulsivity. They would get divorced not long after. After Jill leaves, he goes back to work on another trap, the glass coffin. This box would allow the user to be transported out of a collapsing room and brought to safety. John wouldn't survive long
Le
enough to
héros
use
du
this trap
film,
himself. Instead, it would be used
qui a
years
perdu
later
son
as a success.
fils,
But the fact that he was working on it way back in the 90s is a
qui avait
testament to
eu
John's
7
intelligence
ou
and
8
ability to
ans
predict
dans un
possible outcomes.
accident
One of the things that makes him so
par un
dangerous as a serial
ivrogne
killer. Despite his impressive
sur la
intellect, his
route.
physical condition was about to worsen, as John was diagnosed with colon cancer not long after.
L'ivrogne a fait que 6 mois pour vice de procédure,
Between the divorce and the cancer diagnosis, this was two straight
alors
tragedies
qu'il
for
aurait
John.
dû faire
Cancer got to
10
him while
ans,
he was already at the lowest of low points, and as a result, he
et
decided
ça, il
to
ne
end his life.
supporte
He
pas.
decides to do this Groundhog Day style by driving his car off a cliff, but miraculously, he
Et
survives the
de
wreck.
ce fait,
As he's
il
lying
délaisse
there
sa
in a smoky
femme et
mess,
sa
he
fille.
realizes that he wants to live, and in order to do so, he must endure a little more
On
pain by
apprendra
pulling
plus
a
tard que
stake out
sa
of himself to
femme,
escape. Not only was this
elle
a
couche
revelation to
ailleurs,
John in that he got to experience firsthand how testing his own will to live had supposedly healed his mind and given him a newfound appreciation for life, but it also may have inspired him to directly create the spike trap, a trap that
qu'elle est
would be used
médecin.
years later and required a victim to remove metal stakes from himself in order to escape. And the
Et elle
horsepower
est
trap, where a
kidnappée
victim
par
literally experiences a car
Amanda
crash.
pour essayer de faire une opération du cerveau pour décompresser le cerveau du tueur au puzzle.
And marked them in his mind as future victims to be rehabilitated. The people he encountered there were mostly just doing their jobs, but because John was becoming more frustrated by the tragedies of his life, he was looking too hard for victims to punish by finding reasons that weren't really there.
Et en même temps, Jeff, lui, est dans une boîte. Il sort d'une boîte, il tombe de 2 mètres, il est KO. Et à son réveil, il y a un pantin Billy qui a une cassette, puis il donne des instructions ta rédemption commence maintenant et tout ultime. Et donc, il devra pardonner ou pas à ceux qui ont causé la mort de son fils, parce qu'il y a eu un témoin qui a vu la scène mais qui n'a rien dit. Mais le tueur au puzzle, lui, l'a retrouvé. Comment? Bah, vous le saurez. Moi, je parlerai des sauts suivants, à moins que vous les ayez déjà vus.
The later games were more about putting the perpetrators in physical pain, which is usually somehow symbolic of their wrongdoing. There would be 5 players included in the bottom game. There was Ryan, whose foolish actions got his friends killed back in high school. Carly, a thief who caused her victim to have an asthma attack. Mitch, who sold a faulty motorcycle, resulting in the death of John's nephew. Anna, who is John's next-door neighbor and was normally very supportive of him while going through the chemotherapy, but who also killed her baby and blamed it on her sleeping husband. And Logan Nelson, a resident of the Angel of Mercy Hospital, who accidentally switched the labels of John's
Le
brain
premier
scan
piège, c'est assez bizarre parce qu'il gèle, il lance de l'eau, et puis il commence à geler vivant ses doigts, ses orteils, ses oreilles, son nez, sa bouche, ses seins, son vagin, tout. Et pour finir par être un glaçon, il n'a pas pu la sauver. Ensuite, c'est le juge et une fosse attachée par une sangle au cou. Puis tu as des cochons pourris qui passent dans une sorte de broyeuse et ça devient de la soupe aux cochons pourris, hein, parce qu'ils ont des asticots sur le corps. Ça doit être immonde, ça doit être immonde. Ça l'a chingué en plus. Oh, l'odeur. Ils ont dit que l'odeur était infâme. Je peux bien y croire. Et,
if you're wondering if there's a reason that it's called that, there is, and there's about to be a second one. Ryan and Anna are locked to opposite sides of the room, and John finally reveals himself to deliver the rules of this final challenge.
Il dit, je peux toujours refaire réaliser le jugement, mais il dit, c'est trop tard. Il est sorti. Il a une seule possibilité pour se libérer. Soit il brûle les affaires de son fils, il trouvera la clé pour arriver au meurtrier de son fils, soit il reste là et il n'aura rien. Ou il décide de brûler les affaires de son fils.
That leaves only one survivor of the test game, Logan Nelson, and he would actually be the one to give shape to the next piece of the jigsaw puzzle. Let's just go back one moment to the point where John Kramer reveals himself in the game for the first time. When he comes out to address Ryan and Anna, he's wearing a new costume, a hooded robe that almost makes him look like a monk or priest.
Comme ça, il a les clés, il l'ouvre.
But the attire does lead me to the next piece of the jigsaw puzzle, the religious aspect of John's teachings. When I said he was
ils arrivent dans la pièce du chevalet. Le piège le préféré de Jigsaw. C'est un piège où il est comme ça, comme une croix. Et puis, il se tourne sur lui-même, les membres. Et puis, il dit...
The first step to doing this is by painting himself as a religious leader by wearing these robes. In doing so, he started to see himself.
Il essaie de l'aider, mais c'est trop tard. Et puis, tu vois qu'il veut aller vers son visage, mais en fait, c'est le dos. C'est l'arrière du visage qui l'embrasse. C'est doux. C'est la peau de mouton. Person with a God complex may refuse to admit the possibility of prayer, even in the face of irrefutable evidence and intractable problems. In John's case, look no further than his previous friend, Cecil Adams. He believed that if Cecil suffered through the knife chair, he still tried to attack John Saga Africa, ambiance de la brosse. Saga Africa, attention les secousses. Saga Africa, ambiance de la brousse. Saga Africa, attention les secousses. Ensuite de cela, dans l'exercice, le juge meurt. Et il se retrouve dans la pièce avec Amanda qui a lu une lettre et ça l'a mis en panique. Elle a pris un flingue et il lui dit pose ce pistolet. Qu'est-ce qu'elle a d'important? Elle est plus importante que tu ne crois. Pose ce pistolet. Tu n'es rien. Viens me prendre ce pistolet. Viens me prendre ce pistolet. Il pense à nous deux. Pense à nos projets. Pense à demain. Et puis, à peine arrivé, t'as Jeff qui découvre. Et finalement, ils se connaissaient. Et puis, en fait, c'était sa femme. Et elle se tourne comme ça, Amanda, et boum, sans la regarder, elle tire. Il la touche. The most important part of the cult of Jigsaw and the Saw franchise in general is the traps. In religion, there are usually abstract concepts of sin leading to punishment. Popular ones include heaven and hell, while others use a system of karma and reincarnation. John's religion kind of combines both ideas. The traps cause suffering as a form of punishment for those who have sinned, but he views his suffering as transformative. He thinks the survivors of his traps will be born as Bucky. And that leads us back to Logan Nelson, who would become the first disciple. John taught him everything that he believed in, and also shared some of his knowledge in the field of mechanical engineering. Together, they created what would become Jigsaw's signature trap, the reverse bear trap. The partnership would be short-lived, however, because Nelson had to go overseas to fight in the war. So John would have to look elsewhere to find more potential disciples. As he is still working to fight off the cancer, he discovers someone who he thinks could potentially have what it takes to be one of his followers. It all begins when John is doing some of his own research on an alternate treatment and discovers a doctor in Norway who's been administering an experimental therapy with a 30 to 40% success rate. He goes to visit his healthcare provider, Umbrella Health, which is run by William Easton, the man who had been sponsored at the party at Jill's He explains the situation and requests coverage, but William gives him this copy and paste answer about how his doctor would already be using the treatment if it worked, how it's not feasible with John's insurance policy, and that if he seeks this treatment out independently, he'll be dropped from his current coverage. John responds with one of my favorite lines that I always make sure to quote if I ever have to go to the doctor. Whenever it's time to pay, the receptionist will just be like, okay, CZ's World, that's $50,000. And then I just do my best John Kramer voice and say, you know, in the Far East, people pay their doctors when they're healthy. And then she's like, what? And I say, you think it's the living that will have ultimate judgment over you. No, but I think the reason John reacts the way he does to Mr. Easton is more out of principle, to make a point about the healthcare system rather than for personal reasons. Où est-ce que j'en étais déjà? Ah oui.
And he had the money to seek out other treatments, but he wanted his legacy to say something about society, which is, again, something that religious icons would do. Later that year, things would get worse with his health once again, and it was time to unleash the Jigsaw icon out into the world. Public was about to learn of Jigsaw for the first time. In June of 2003,
Alors,
Dr. Lawrence
il la tue, mais pas sur le coup. Elle reste encore en vie quelques secondes. C'était ton jeu. Toi aussi, tu étais dans la partie et tu as échoué. Non.
This means the brain cancer was affecting his ability to speak and limiting his ability to move the right side of his body. See, we're learning science here in the horror history classroom. This shows educational, guys. It's not just memes. It's not just memes.
Jeff, vous avez des tas d'instruments pour en coupant la chair. Je peux appeler une ambulance dans les 2 minutes pour votre femme.
The cancer was also metastatic, meaning it was moving to different parts of the brain or
Si votre
possibly
haine
moving
est
towards
trop
the body.
forte,
A further brain scan
vous ne
indicated
verrez
signs
jamais
of
votre
these brain
fille,
cells were going to die
car
as a
je
side
suis le
effect of
seul
radiation therapy, which was meant to kill the cancer
à
cells, but
savoir
didn't
où elle se
necessarily
trouve.
distinguish between
Et
good and
là,
bad cells.
il y a
In
deux
addition to
fins.
that, he exhibited
À ce
edema, so his
moment-là,
brain was swelling inside of his skull, forcing them to perform a craniotomy, a brain surgery that requires them to create a surgical opening through his skull. If you weren't paying attention through most of that medical jargon, basically all you need to know was that your boy was sick, and Dr. Denlin told him that there's no preventative treatment for what you have, in a very cold and clinical tone. John didn't appreciate that whole lot. His brain may have had a recurring tumor, but it didn't seem to affect his memory. As he would file Dr. Denlin's lack of empathy away in his mind,
presse au bouton que tu as le radiocassette
Dr. Gordon and Dr. Denlin were able to improve his condition enough so
qui
he could be
s'enclenche
released from the
qui dit
hospital
«
to
Je
enjoy
suis le
what time
seul
he
à
left.
savoir où
However,
votre
he had
fille
other
se
ideas on
cache.
how he wanted to spend his precious hours.
On va
Ironically, we
jouer
don't
à un
actually see
jeu.
his first public victims, even though
Il
this
a
area
écrit
between March
non,
2004 and October 2004 has been covered to
non.
death in the movies. But basically,
Et
what we do know is that
l'autre,
there were at least 3 or so
tu
tracks that were
as
held in
une
which
autre
none of the victims
version
witnessed. The
où
reason I
tu
think this
vois
is because the next step that we
l'explosion
can see is the death of Seth
du
Baxter in
crâne
the pendulum trap, which was created by Detective Mark Hoffman to make it look like Seth was another victim of Jigsaw.
de
But in
la
order for this
femme de
copycat
Jeff.
crime to make sense, that means there had to have been other Jigsaw
Et tu
traps that
vois
were discovered by the public in
le
the first place.
radiocassette
Even
qui est
though we
par
don't see
terre,
them on this list of Jigsaw
il
victims in
l'écoute.
Saw 5.
Lui,
Maybe there's another page
il est
of this list that we
complètement
don't see, or
sain,
maybe they were
il
all so badly
dégouline de
mutilated that they could
partout.
not be identified. It
C'est
certainly
vraiment la
wasn't because the
foire
creators
au
of this
sang
franchise
là,
are
dans
human
ce
and a
film.
mistake was made. In these first 3 public victims, a few conventions were established, like the use of a pre-recorded tape featuring Billy the Puppet reading the rules of each trap out to the
Il
victim, the
entend le
idea that
même
John is physically
discours,
present at the site of each test,
puis
and the
là
fact that a
aussi
jigsaw
il
puzzle piece
hurle.
is cut out of the flesh of each subject. As a result of this, the police and the press coined the name Jigsaw, and John became known
Oh, qu'est-ce
as
que
the
j'en
Jigsaw Killer.
pense?
My name's John. How do you like to be called Jigsaw? It was the police and the press who coined the nickname Jigsaw.
C'est un très bon film.
Encouraged to replay.
Ouais, un très bon film.
My subjects was only ever meant to be a symbol that subject was missing something.
Mark Hoffman used these
C'est
elements in his copycat Jigsaw trap, but John had already been keeping an eye on him for other reasons, so he found out immediately and decided to test him as well in a crude trap called the shotgun chair, which prevented Hoffman from moving his arms if he didn't want to, blow his head off. The reason that Hoffman is tested is because he didn't give his
C'est
subject
mon
a second
cinquième
chance.
préféré après le
And you
1
get a
et le
chance.
6.
Hoffman is going to get one too because John realizes that the two of them are not too far apart in their intentions. They both want to bring justice to the city, but John believes he has a better way of going about it because of his God complex. So he brings Hoffman on as his next disciple. To make sure he stays in line, John threatens that the truth about Hoffman being Seth Baxter's killer will automatically be released if anything happens to him. So Hoffman is forced to work under John, and John hopes that this will help him see the light. And he starts to agree with John's methods. In order to start this transformation, John takes Hoffman along to set up the next two traps. The two of them would double team a man named Paul Lake
Tout est
and
clos.
leave him in the razor wire maze trap. Paul was a former
On voit
addict
pas
that John
comment
had
une
first
suite
met at Dill's
pourrait
Clinic, and he had
arriver,
since turned to
et
cutting himself
pourtant
to
il y a
tame
eu
his
une
addiction.
suite.
The maze seemed to be an updated
Et
version of
pas
Cecil's
qu'une,
second
il y en a
trap,
eu
and Paul
5
was
autres.
required to crawl through, thus cutting himself again to get out.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You just have to stay where you are. But if you want to live,
Il y en a eu
you
5
yourself
autres.
again.
The hope was that this more painful punishment would get Paul to appreciate
Ah ouais,
what
le
he
8
had, but it was
aussi.
once again in
Le
vain,
8,
and Paul
donc
was
il y a
unable to survive. The crime scene was
donc
quote-unquote
dorénavant,
investigated
c'est
by
le,
Hoffman, but the deputy coroner on the police
4,
force, Allison Carey,
le
introduced
2,
two new investigators
le
to the
7,
equation, Stephen
le
Singh and
5,
David Tapp.
le
Jigsaw would
3,
keep tabs on them from here on out, and later decided to make them future Jigsaw
le
victims.
1,
Before this, I think you could
le
make the argument at
6
least that everyone he had
et le
tested,
8.
even if you don't want to say they deserved it, they were bad people. Not including Nelson, who didn't really end up getting tested. But Singh and Tapp only end up on Jigsaw's naughty list because
Non,
they're trying to bring a
le
serial killer to
6
justice.
à la place
This is
du
both
1.
the psychopathy and the God complex inside
Le
of
1
John
est
really
donc
taking over and
avant-dernier.
skewing his perception of reality. These two psychological conditions cause him to invent reasons to punish Singh and Tapp so that nobody can stop it. He tried to tell himself that they deserved to be tested because they valued the glory of catching Jigsaw over the preservation of
On
human
prend
life.
son
But it was
pied
really
de les
just an
voir
excuse to strike down those who opposed him. So the God
se
complex told him that nobody should
torturer
break his
les
power,
uns
and his
après les
psychopathy told
autres.
him that he was doing the right thing by putting them through nearly inescapable tests. John set up a new
Je me
workshop in
demande
an
comment
abandoned
ce
mansion
serait de
factory
voir
on
en
Stygian Street. There,
réalité
he would
tout
work
ça.
on the
Quoi.
creation of his next major game, the bathroom.
Si on
And
se
he would
pisserait
create a
pas
trap for Singh and Tapp so that they would be killed if they
dessus.
tried to confront or stop him. He does this by filming the videotapes he plays for his
Le
victims in
film
front
de
of
ce qu'il fait
recognizable
dessus,
graffiti to
hein,
lure
dans
the
une
two
telle
cops into his
horreur.
territory. But they would not show up there for at least a few weeks.
Je pense
In the
pas que je
meantime,
me
he had
pisserais
another subject
dessus,
to test
mais
and once again enlisted the help of Hoffman. The victim was named Mark Wilson. John found out that Mark was faking an illness in order to scam others, so he tests him using the flammable jelly trap. Mark needed to
C'est un
obtain the
bon
combination of
show.
safe containing an antidote using a
Il
candle to
mérite sa
read the message
place.
on the walls. The floor was covered in sharp glass,
C'est
and
le
one raw move
dernier
would ignite the flammable jelly smeared all over his body. That's
l'avant-dernier
why it's
des
called the
araignées
flammable jelly.
Boozman, mais le
After setting this
dernier
trap
de
up, Hoffman tries to
lui,
warn John that the tap is onto him. But
Après,
John,
ce sera
being the
d'autres
manipulative
scénaristes
mastermind that
qui
he already
prendront
is
le
already
relais.
one step ahead of him. One day during his treatments at the Angel of Mercy Hospital, John steals a pen light from his oncologist, Dr. Gordon, and passes it on to Hoffman, instructing him to leave it behind at the flammable jelly trap crime scene in order to throw the other investigators off.
Il change complètement de lui. Hein. C'est pas un thriller, là, c'est vraiment... Là, pour ce troisième, c'est pas une enquête. Là, c'est vraiment un huis clos horrible. Horrifique, plutôt. Un huis clos horrifique. Le 1 et le 2. Le 4, le 5, le 6, le 7, le 8, et même Spirale, même si ce n'est pas dans la continuité, sont des thrillers. Le 3 n'est pas un thriller, à part les 15 premières minutes. Et c'est le plus long de la saga avec ses 1h46 minutes. 46 minutes.
After Amanda unlocks the reverse bear trap from her head, Billy the puppet wheels up on a tricycle and congratulates her.
Donc, si vous ne l'avez pas encore vu, ben, vous avez qu'à sauter dessus. Et si vous l'avez déjà vu, ben, revoyez-le, peut-être avec un œil neuf.
She was the first survivor of the game to actually believe that the experience had helped her overcome
peut-être que vous trouverez mieux que la fois précédente. Qui sait? Personne ne le sait, à part vous. Allez. Ciao, bello.
He may have known this because of his excellent ability to anticipate the actions of others, but may have also been aided by Hoffman, who was still a police officer and may have been